never have never have any enviousness towards the demigods. We should respect them. But a devotee need not worship the devatas, especially the ghastly forms of devatas. Like you have Bhutanath, you have ghastly form of Rudra, ghastly form of Rudra, Kala Bhairav, Kali, that worship. So we are in the 28th verse. 8th verse.
No, Mataji, 27.
27. So your previous verse was you don't have to worship the ghastly forms of devatas if you want liberation. Simple. If you want something else, you can desire liberation. Narayana who can give us liberation. Mumukshavo has been spoken. Now 27th verse. Rajastama prakrute samashila bhajanti vai pitrabhuta pradeshadin Shri Aishwarya Prajipsavaha. Rajastama prakrute samashila bhajanti vai pitrabhuta pradeshadin Shri Aishwarya Prajipsavaha. Rajastama. Who will chant after me? Okay, Aruna Mataji. Bhaktani. Unmute yourself. Rajastama, yeah, Rajastama Prakrute.
Prakrte.
Samashila Bhajanti Vai.
Shila Bhajanti Vai.
Pitrabhuta Prajeshadin.
Pitrabhuta Prasheda. Prajeshadin.
Prajeshadin. Pitrabhuta Prajeshadin.
Pitrabhuta Prajeshadin.
Deen. That's what Dirgha, we should know. This is Dirgha. Deen. Prajeshadin.
Prajeshadin.
Din nahi. Deen.
Deen.
Deen. Deen. Rasva. Din. Din is Rasva. Deen is Prajeshadin.
Prajeshadin.
Shri Aishwarya Prajeshavaha.
Shri Aishwarya
Prajeshavaha. 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 Prajeshavaha.
Prajeshavaha.
Very good. Gadi Mataji. Rajastama Prakrute.
Rajastama Prakrite.
Samashila Bhajanti Vai.
Samashila Bhajanti Vai.
Pitrabhuta Prajeshadin.
Pitrabhuta Prajeshadin. Deen.
Deen.
Deen. Prajeshadin.
Shri Aishwarya Prajipsavaha.
Shri Aishwarya Prajipsavaha.
So now Bindu Mataji will chant and I will chant after her. Chant. Rajastama Prakrite. Rajastama Prakrite. Samashila Bhajanti Vai. Samashila Bhajanti Vai. Pitrabhuta Prajeshadi. Shri Aishwarya Prajipsavaha. You want to chant, Bade Prabhu? Offline classes also going on. Chant. Rajastama Prakrute. Loudly. Samashila Bhajanti Vai. Pitrabhuta Prajeshadin. Shri Aishwarya. Shri Aishwarya Prajipsavaha. Okay, anybody else? Sanjay Prabhu, want to try out? After you chant, I will chant. So chant correctly, or I will also chant like that. Chant.
Rajastama Prakrte.
Rajastama Prakrutaye.
Rajastama Prakrtaye. Samashila Bhakti Vai.
Samashila Bhajanti Vai. Shila. Samashila Bhajanti Vai.
Samashila Bhajanti Vai.
Pitrubhuta Prajepsadin.
Shri Aishwarya Prajepsava.
Shri Aishwarya Prajepsavaha. Very good. Rajaha Tamaha Prakrutaye. Prakrutaye means the mentality. One is Prakruti, Prakrutaihi. Prakrutaihi means the mentality of the people who are in the mode of passion and who are in the mode of ignorance. They are categorized as one only. They come in the same category. What is tamas? Extended form of passion. When the passion increases, that becomes tamas. So they actually come in the same category. What they do? Bhajanti, they worship whom? Pitru, forefathers, Bhuta, other living entities. Then Prajesha Adina. Prajesha Adina means controllers of the administration, cosmic administration. That means the demigods. They worship the demigods. Why they worship? What is the reason? Shriya, they want richness. Aishwarya, they want wealth and power. Praja, they want to increase their progeny. Ipsavaha, in this way, they are desiring. That means this Rajas and Tamas, they always desire material things. And that is why they worship all these forms. They worship forefathers or some other living beings or demigods in this way. To have either richness or power or progeny, many other things. Okay. Sanjay Prabhu, you read.
Hare Krishna Mata. Of whatsoever category, if one is serious about going back to Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.20, 23, it is clearly said that those who are mad after material enjoyment approach the different demigods for temporary benefits, which are meant for men with a poor fund of knowledge. We should never desire to increase the depth of material enjoyment. Material enjoyment should be accepted only up to the point of the bare necessities of life and not more or less than that. To accept more material enjoyment means to bind oneself more and more to the miseries of material existence. More wealth, more women, and false aristocracy are some of the demands of the materially disposed man because he has no information of the benefit derived from Vishnu worship. By Vishnu worship, one can derive benefit in this life as well as in life after death. Forgetting these principles, foolish people who are after more wealth, more wives, and more children worship various demigods. The aim of life is to end the miseries of life and not to increase them. For material enjoyment, there is no need to approach the demigods. The demigods are but servants of the Lord. As such, they are duty-bound to supply necessities of life in the form of water, light, air, etc. One should work hard and worship the Supreme Lord by the fruit of one's hard labor for existence, and that should be the motto of life. One should be careful to execute occupational service with faith in God in the proper way, and that will lead one gradually on the progressive march back to Godhead. Lord Shri Krishna, when he was personally present at Vrajdham, stopped the worship of the demigod Indra and advised the residents of Vraja to worship by their business and to have faith in God. Worshipping the multi-demigods for material gain is practically a perversity of religion. This sort of religious activity has been condemned in the very beginning of the Bhagavatam as Kaitav Dharma. There is only one religion in the world to be followed by one and all, and that is the Bhagavad Dharma, or the religion which teaches one to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead and no one else. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes. The Bhagavad Dharma says there is only one religion. Savai pumsam paro dharma yatho bhaktir adhokshate. Ahaitukya pratiyata yayatma suprasidati. Savai pumsam paro dharmo. That is only dharma. Adhokshaja. That means only to worship Krishna. Then demigods, if they are worshipping, the only goal should be to remove the obstacles which comes in the path of devotional service. If at all somebody is worshipping a demigod, that should be the purpose. You are not insulting a demigod. Mukshavo Ghorarupan Yatha Bhutinatha Narayana Kalashartha Vajanti Anusuyava. You should not have any enviousness towards a demigod. They are also great devotees of Krishna. They are looking after the administration of Krishna. That means they are holding post. You don't have to ask anything. You respect them. And if at all any difficulties are coming in the path of devotional service, you can ask them to please remove those difficulties. Then you can do one Ganesh Havan, so that, oh Ganesha or Ganapati, please remove the klesha which is coming in the path of devotional service. You can do that. That much maximum you can do. But to ask some material benefit, if you worship a demigod, then it is wrong. That has been given. Because Paro Dharmo is Adhokshaja, Bhagavati Adhokshaja, to worship Krishna. Now in 28th and 29th verse, we'll find very clear description. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakaha, Vasudeva Para Yoga, Vasudeva Para Kriyaha, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Paro Tapaha, Vasudeva Paro Dharma, Vasudeva Paragatihi. If you learn this verse, or if you memorize this verse, there is nothing like this. It's a beautiful verse, which is categorizing 4 types of people.
Vasudeva
Karmis,
Param Vasudeva Param Makha, Vasudeva Param Vasudeva Parakriya,
very
Vasudeva
good.
Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapaha, Vasudeva Paro Dharmo, Vasudeva Paragatihi.
Wow, Khanna Prabhu. Okay, you are not in mute. Okay, let us sing this verse. Vasudeva para veda, Vasudeva para kriyaha. Sorry, makaha. Vasudeva para veda, Vasudeva para makaha, Vasudeva para yoga, Vasudeva para kriyaha, Vasudeva param jnanam, Vasudeva param tapaha, Vasudeva paro dharma, Vasudeva paragatihi. Karmis, yogis, jnanis, bhaktaha. 4 categories of people have been given in 11119. That is, what do karmis do? They are interested in the rituals. Makaha means rituals. After I just briefly describe, then we'll chant this verse. So Khanna Prabhu and Angel Mataji, be ready one by one. So Makaha means doing the ritualistic ceremonies. Why the rituals are done? To understand Vasudeva Para. He is the topmost. So the Vedas describe. So Vedas, when you say Vedas, Vedas prescribed rituals. Rituals are prescribed by Vedas. So what do Vedas speak? That Krishna is to be known. Vedeshcha sarver ahame vivedyo vedanta krudved videva chaha. So Vedas prescribe Krishna is the topmost. And through the Vedas, Krishna is to be known. So Makaha, the Vedas are prescribing rituals. Through the rituals, Krishna has to be known. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakaha. Now this is for the Karmis. The Karmis are generally interested in the rituals. But because they have the Dhana, so what they will do? They will use those results in the service of Lord. Because to perform a sacrifice, you need lot of money. And that Lakshmi, whatever is coming through your karma, that has to be utilized in Makaha. But why that Makaha is there, or why that Vedic ritual is there? To understand Krishna. Now what about yogis? They don't have anything. They don't have much. They just meditate upon the Supreme Personality of God or Paramatma. So that has been given. Vasudeva para yoga, Vasudeva para kriya. So kriya, they do a lot of yogas, Ashtanga yoga. You have yam, niyam, asan, then pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So they have a lot of kriya. Kriya means the postures, you can say, the activities, you can say. You have Sudarshan kriya, the meditate upon. So whom to be meditated upon? That is Vasudeva. Vasudeva para yoga, Vasudeva para kriya, Vasudeva param jnanam, Vasudeva parotapahu. So to understand, jnana means to understand that I'm not the body, I'm soul. The jnanis, they do lot of tapasya. That is why here is said tapaha. But what is the purpose of doing tapasya? Vasudeva param tapaha. What is the purpose of doing so much of austerity? That is to know Krishna. Why is he staying nude in Himalayas? So cold. He's just applying ash and staying nude there. Or he goes and eats something in the, like he's like Aghori, he's not interested in eating also. He'll just eat something, whatever comes. He's not interested. Sometimes he keeps crab on his hand, makes a crab eat his hand. That means so much of tapasya he does. Just why he should do? That has been given. Vasudeva param jnanam. So what is the topmost knowledge? The topmost knowledge is to understand Krishna. What knowledge has to be understood? Even understanding I'm not the body, I'm soul, that is not perfect jnanam. Because that is also apurna only. It is not purna. Purna is if we understand that I'm servant of Krishna. Okay, I'm not the body, I'm soul. But the proprietor of this body and the soul is Krishna. That has to be understood. Param tapaha. Vasudeva paro dharmo. Dharma means that is the intrinsic quality. Dharma, what is the meaning of dharma? Somebody asked in the Sripad Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya told, where there is no beginning, no end. That is dharma. In other words, the intrinsic quality of an object is dharma. So what is the dharma which has to be understood? Which should be the goal of life? What should be the dharma? Who is understanding this? Because Gatihi means one who knows the goal of life. That is Bhaktas. It's only Bhaktas who know the goal of life. So the goal of life is to understand one's dharma. And what is that one's dharma? There is two types of dharma. Artika dharma, Paramarthika dharma. So Artika dharma should be done in such a way that it actually nourishes Paramarthika dharma. So Paramarthika dharma is to know Krishna. Vasudeva paro dharmo. That is my intrinsic nature. What is the intrinsic nature of a soul? Jivera Swarupoho Krishnera Nityadas. He is eternally the servant of Krishna. Eternally. Then you said, what happened then in between? Why I forgot? Because of the tendency of ownership or the tendency to enjoy, tendency to control. Because of this tendency to enjoy, to control, that is why we have forgotten our real nature. So here 4 types of transcendentalists, you can say, have been spoken. If the karmi understands Krishna is the benefactor of all the sacrifices or all the fruits of his sacrifices, then he is on the right path. So Vasudeva, okay. Khanna Prabhu, unmute yourself and chant after me. Then angel will chant and I will chant after her. Unmute both of you. It is now Khanna angel.
We are both.
I know that these are both names. And show your faces now, both of you. Hari Bol. Keep a video song. Yeah.
Okay.
Vasudeva para Veda.
Vasudeva para Veda.
Vasudeva para Kriyaha. Vasudeva para Makaha.
Vasudeva para Makaha.
Vasudeva param. Vasudeva para Yoga.
Vasudeva para Yoga.
Vasudeva para Kriyaha.
Vasudeva para Kriyaha.
Vasudeva param Jnanam.
Vasudeva param jnanam.
Vasudeva param tapaha.
Vasudeva param tapaha.
Vasudeva paro dharma.
Vasudeva paro dharmo.
Vasudeva paragatihi.
Vasudeva paragatihi.
Angel, you chant, then I'll chant.
Vasudeva Paraveda,
Vasudeva paraveda.
Vasudeva Paramakaha,
Vasudeva paramakaha.
Vasudeva Parayoga,
Vasudeva para yoga.
Vasudeva Parakriyaha,
Vasudeva para kriyaha.
Vasudeva Param Jnanam,
Vasudeva param jnanam.
Vasudeva Param Tapaha,
Vasudeva param tapaha.
Vasudeva Paro Dharmo,
Vasudeva paro dharmo.
Vasudeva Paragati,
Vasudeva paragatihi. So, Mohit Prabhu, unmute yourself. Tell me the first line refers for whom?
Vasudeva Paraveda. For the Jnanis, Mataji.
Huh?
For the Jnanis,
Jnani sir. I told Jnani sir. Makaha means paraveda para.
Paraveda. Paramaka is for the sacrifices, for the rituals. For the
Vedas
rituals.
recommend sacrifices, rituals. Who do that? Who is doing that? Who does that?
Karmis.
Karmis. The whole line refers to karmi. Veda recommends sacrifices. Sacrifices are done by the karmis because they are earning. They have money.
Yeah.
If I tell you to do some sacrifice, if you don't have money, how will you sit in the sacrifice? You should have now fruits of your activities. So with that fruits of the activities, he is doing makaha. That means he is doing the ritual. What is the purpose? Milindra Narvekar Prabhu, you also unmute yourself. Mohit Prabhuji will tell, you will answer. One line. Now that is the question now. For what is the purpose of doing all the sacrifices? What is the purpose?
Satisfaction of Vishnu.
That is,
What is the purpose?
I said satisfaction of Vishnu.
no, it is to achieve
Yes.
the desires in a right way.
To achieve the desires or to know Krishna?
Karmis
to know.
perform sacrifices for satisfaction, no? In the right
1
way.
minute. That is why it has been told here. Makaha means rituals. Okay, through the rituals, desires are also fulfilled. But actual desire is what? What should be the actual desire?
To know Krishna.
To know Krishna. Vedeshta sarver ahamevya vedyo vedanta krud ved videva chaham. We have studied in 15th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 15th verse. So the purpose of performing the sacrifices is to know Krishna or is to satisfy Krishna. Actually, that is the purpose. But we think, okay, dharma, artha, kama. Then we think of moksha. Dharma, artha, kama. And when I'm completely fed up of 10 children, then I'll think of moksha. Before that, I was doing so many sacrifices to produce 10 children. But afterwards, all the 10 sat on my head. Then I thought of, okay, liberation. Let me think of liberation. So that is not the purpose of Makaha. The purpose of Makaha is Vasudeva Paraveda. Through the Vedas, I should understand that the supreme enjoyer is actually Krishna. Bhoktaram, Yajnatapasam, Sarvalokam Maheshwaram, Suram, Sarvabhutanam, Gyatva, Mam Shanti, Duchati. Same verse has been spoken here. Forgot Bhagavad Gita?
But Mataji, then the first line cannot refer to the karmis. No?
Karmis only, no? The
But
karmis
karmis-
now taking up karma yoga.
Okay, karma yoga.
Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. We studied now Bhoktaram Yajna. So who is that Bhoktaram of Yajna? That has been described in this line very nicely. Vasudeva Para Veda, Vasudeva Para Makaha, Bhoktaram Yajna. Bhoktaram Tapasam. That has been described in the third line. Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapaha. Okay, Mohit Prabhu, what is the second line telling?
All the austerities, all the penances
Vasudeva
are
Para Yoga, Vasudeva
Para
Para
Yoga.
Kriyaha.
Okay, para yoga and para kriya.
Yoga kriya. Yoga kriya. Yes, Nalvikar Prabhu, you can tell.
So all the yogic activities are done to perform, to reach, understand Krishna.
Vasudev, Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwara. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, that to understand. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Who is that Maheshwaram? In 13th chapter, 22nd verse, we have Upadrashtanumanta cha Bhakta Bhokta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapyukto Dehesmin Purusha Paraha. Remember or not? 13th chapter.
Yes, yes, Upadrashta, yeah.
So that is a Paramatma who is sitting in our heart.
Heart of everybody.
He is only
In our
Maheshwara.
hearts.
Yogis are into meditating upon the Paramatma. That is why here it has been given second line. Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriyaha. Kriya means various types of postures, you can say, various types of meditation, you can say. So yogis, they perform Kriyaha, Sudarshan Kriya, like that, various types of Kriya is there. You want to learn Kriya, you can go for Art of Living. There they teach a lot of things. But that one line is missing.
Yes.
Vasudeva Para. Yoga, Kriya, everything is there, but Vasudeva Para is missing there. But Bhagavatam teaches very nicely that even if you are not the topmost of the yogis, you don't know many kriyas, but you know that the topmost of everybody is Krishna. So actually, who is a true yogi? A true yogi is bhakta. True yogi is actually bhakta. So Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Bhoktaram Tapasam. That has been given in the third line. Tapasam. Jnanam Tapasam. Jnanam Tapasam. Vasudeva Param Jnanam. Vasudeva Param
Tapa.
Tapa. What is the purpose of doing so much of tapasya? What is the purpose of doing so much of tapasya?
To know Krishna.
Huh?
To know Krishna.
To know that I am servant of Krishna. Jnanam. Your Jnanam is told. When is the perfection of Jnanam? The perfection of Jnanam is not just understanding I am the body, I am not the body, I am soul. Jnanam refers to, you should read 2nd chapter, 11th verse. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam nevejanadipaha
Nevejanadipa
Before that, what is that verse? 2.10. Open 2.10 Bhagavad Gita. Before that, what is that verse? Ashochananva shochastvam
Prajnavadansh bhashase gatasuna gatasumsha nanu sochanti panditaha.
There you see in the purport what has been written, what is Jnanam, what is the meaning of knowledge. Open. Bhakti Shastri students enter Bhakti Vaibhava. Shastris, please tell me what is there.
Bhagavad Gita
Bhagavad Gita hai kya, don't ask. It will be the height. It is like when you go to 8th standard, you keep all your 7th standard books in the rati. Knowledge has been told. Something about knowledge has been told.
Knowledge means to know the matter, spirit, and controller of both.
Very good, wonderful. Manjari has told. Manjari, when will be having your darshan? I only hear your voice. Manjari only told, na?
Yes, Mataji. I just looked in the purport. So.
Yeah. So knowledge means to know the matter, spirit, and the controller of matter and spirit. So Shastri students mean thak. You should connect the verses. Learn to connect Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So that is real Jnanam. Not just understanding I am not the body, I am soul. What is the use of understanding? Then we'll try to fit our body. Why we should have this body? We'll try to give so much of pains to this body. We'll try to pluck their hairs for no reason. We'll try to walk barefoot. Why do all this hangama? If we don't understand, I am servant of Krishna. Like Sanatana Goswami wanted to give up his body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, what rights you have? His body also belongs to me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. So this matter also belongs to Krishna. Preservation of our body is also important. One has to take care of his body. Why? To serve Krishna. That is Jnanam. That is real Jnanam. To serve Krishna. Then Vasudeva Paro Dharmo Vasudeva Paragatihi. So after understanding I'm servant of Krishna, so what should be our goal? What should be our dharma? To serve Krishna with all our samarthya. That is dharma. That is gatihi. So dharma gatihi. Dharma gatihi. Gatihi means goal. Dharma means the duties which will make us reach the goal. And this is only known by devotees. Okay. So, in the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Thakur, it said, why we should not worship Pitrus and Devatas? What is wrong? Vedas have told, Vedas have instructed such type of worship. But then the answer is given here. Makaha refers to the rituals. Yes, Vedas have told who the rituals worship to. That is why even though you would do a ritual for Ganesha, last what you say? Kayena vacha manasendriyarva pushyatana va prakrite sabhavat karomi adya sakalam parasmai narayanaye
Narayana samarpay.
Means everything is samarpan to Narayana. Even though demigod worship may be there, but if you carefully hear to the mantras, everything is actually for Narayana. The word itself, Yajna, refers to Narayana. Yajna, one of the name of Krishna is Yajna. The tongue of the sacrifice is Krishna. When you say Swaha, we are giving to fire god. But actually Swaha is the wife of fire god. You are giving to fire god. And fire god in turn gives to Krishna. Demigods never eat anything alone. They know their master is Krishna. That has been given. So here it is said, if a person, we have learned this verse also, Aho, Bataswa, Pachotogariya. If a person is born in a dog eater's family, he has not done anything, but is only chanting the holy name of Krishna. It is understood that he has done all tapasya. He has understood that he has done all type of kriya, all type of makaha. It is understood. If he is just chanting the holy name, it is understood that he has studied Vedas. Through the Vedas, various types of makaha is understood. Makaha means sacrifices. So a person who is chanting Krishna's name, he is the perfect karmi. Actually, what is karmi? The perfect karmi is one who knows to give everything to Krishna. He is a perfect karmi. That is why he is doing a perfect yogi, you can say. A perfect yogi, a perfect jnani, a perfect karmi, a perfect karma yogi, a perfect dhyana yogi, a perfect jnani. So in this way, the one who chants the holy name of Krishna, he knows the goal of life. Okay, Nigi Mataji, please read purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Mataji, shall I read translation also or directly purport?
Directly purport.
Okay, Hare Krishna. That Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is the only object of worship is confirmed in these two shlokas. In the Vedic literature, there is the same objective, establishing one's relationship and ultimately reviving our lost loving service unto him. That is the sum and substance of the Vedas. In the Bhagavad Gita, the same theory is confirmed by the Lord in his own words. The ultimate purpose of the Vedas is to know him only. All the revealed scriptures are prepared by the Lord through his incarnation in the body of Srila Vyasadeva just to remind the fallen souls, conditioned by material nature of the Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. No demigod can award freedom from material bondage. That is the verdict of all the Vedic literatures. Impersonalists who have no information of the personality of Godhead minimize the omnipotency of the Supreme Lord and put him on equal footing with all others living beings. And for this act, such impersonalists get freedom from material bondage only with great difficulty. They can surrender unto him only after many, many births in the culture of transcendental knowledge. One may argue the Vedic activities are based on sacrificial ceremonies. That is true. But all such sacrifices are also meant for realizing the truth about Vasudeva. Another name of Vasudeva Deva is Yagya, sacrifice. And in this Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that all the sacrifice and all activities are to be conducted for the satisfaction of Yagya or Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. This is the case only with the yoga systems. Yoga means to get in touch with the Supreme Lord. The process, however, includes several bodily features such as asana, dhyana, pranayam, and meditation, and all of them are meant for concentrating upon the localized aspect of Vasudeva, represented as Paramatma. Paramatma realization is but partial realization of Vasudeva, and if one is successful in that attempt, one realizes Vasudeva in full. But by ill luck, most yogis are stranded by the powers of mysticism achieved through the bodily process. Ill-fated yogis are given a chance in the next birth by being placed in the families of good learned brahmanas or in the families of rich merchants in order to execute the unfinished task of Vasudeva realization. If such fortunate brahmanas and sons of rich men properly utilize the chance, they can easily realize Vasudeva by good association with saintly persons. Unfortunately, such preferred persons are captivated again by material wealth and honor, and thus they practically forget the aim of life. This is also so for the culture of knowledge. According to Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 items in cultural knowledge. But by such culture of knowledge, one becomes gradually prideless, devoid of vanity, non-violent, forbearing, simple, devoted to the great spiritual master, and self-control. By culture of knowledge, one becomes unattached to heart and home and becomes conscious of the miseries due to death, birth, old age, and disease. And all culture of knowledge culminates in the devotional service of the devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Therefore, Vasudeva is the ultimate aim in culturing all different branches of knowledge. Culture of knowledge leading one to the transcendental plane of meeting Vasudeva as real knowledge. Physical knowledge in its various branches is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita as a ajnana or the opposite of real knowledge. The ultimate aim of physical knowledge is to satisfy the senses, which means prolongation of the term of material existence and thereby continuance of the threefold misery. So prolonging the miserable life of material existence is nescience. But the same physical knowledge leading to the way of spiritual understanding helps one to end the miserable life of physical existence and to begin the life of spiritual existence on the plane of Vasudeva. The same applies to all kind of austerities. Tapasya means voluntary acceptance of bodily pains to achieve some higher end of life. Ravana and Hiranyakashipu underwent a severe type of bodily torture to achieve the end of sense gratification. Sometimes modern politicians also undergo severe type of austerity to achieve some political end. This is not actually tapasya. One should accept voluntarily bodily inconvenience for the sake of knowing Vasudeva, because that is the way of real austerities. Otherwise, all forms of austerities are classified as mode of passion and ignorance. Passion and ignorance cannot end the miseries of life. Only the mode of goodness can mitigate the three folds of miseries of life. Vasudeva and Devaki, the so-called father and mother of Lord Krishna, underwent penance to get Vasudeva as the son. Lord Sri Krishna is the father of all living beings. BG Bhagavad Gita point 14.4. Therefore, he is the original living being of all other living beings. He is the original eternal enjoyer amongst all other enjoyers. Therefore, no one can be his begetting father, as an ignorant man may think. Lord Sri Krishna agreed to become the son of the Vasudeva and Devaki upon being pleased with their severe austerities. Therefore, if any austerities have to be done, they must be done to achieve the end of knowledge, Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the original personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. As explained before, the original personality of God expands himself by innumerable forms. Such expansion of forms is made possible by his various energies. His energies are also multifarious, and his internal energies are superior and external energies inferior in quality.
Okay,
They are
after this,
explained in
Sachidev Prabhu, you read.
Hare
You
Krishna.
read from here. Sachidev Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, yeah, Hare Krishna Mata. They are explained in the Bhagavad Gita 7.4 to 6 as the para and the apara prakritis. Though his expansion of various forms which take place via the internal energies are superior forms, whereas the expansions which take place via the external energies are inferior forms. The living entities are also his expansion. The living entities who are expanded by his internal potency are eternally liberated persons, whereas those who are expanded in terms of material energies are eternally conditioned souls. Therefore, all culture of knowledge, austerities, sacrifice, and activities should be aimed at changing the quality of the influence that is acting upon us. For the present, we are all being controlled by the external energy of the Lord. And just to change the quality of the influence, we must endeavor to cultivate spiritual energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that those who are Mahatmas or those whose minds have been so broadened as to be engaged in the service of Lord Krishna are under the influence of internal potency. And the effect is that such broad-minded living beings are constantly engaged in the service of the Lord without deviation. That should be the aim of life. And that is the verdict of all the Vedic literature. No one should bother himself with repetitive activities or dry speculation about transcendental knowledge. Everyone should at once engage himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Nor should one worship different demigods who work as different hands of the Lord for creation, maintenance, or destruction of the material world. There are innumerable powerful demigods who look over the external management of the material world. They are all different assisting hands of Lord Vasudeva. Even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are included in the list of demigods. But Lord Vishnu or Vasudeva is always transcendentally situated. Even though he accepts the quality of goodness of the material world, he is still transcendental to all the material modes. The following example will clear that matter more explicitly. In the prison house, there are the prisoners and the managers of the prison house. But the managers and the prisoners are bound by the laws of the king. But even though the king sometimes comes in the prison, he is not bound. He is not bound by the laws of the prison house. The king is therefore always transcendental to the laws of the prison house, as the Lord is always transcendental to the laws of the material world. Hare Krishna.
So what are the 18 items by which we can learn the knowledge? Which chapter Bhagavad Gita teaches that? 13th chapter.
Amanitvam Bitvam.
Yes. Amanitvam Adambit. Who answered? Who answered?
Okay, I did it, Mataji.
Amanitvam Adambitvam Ahimsa Shantirarjavam Acharyopasanam Shocham Stadium Atma Vinigraham. So like this, it goes on. Indriyartheshu Vairagyam Ahankar Evacha Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Ukkadoshanu Darshanam Asaktira Vishwangaha Putradara Grihadishu Nityam Cha Samajittatvam Ishtanishtopavattishu Maichananya Yogena Bhaktirabhya Vicharini Vivikta Desha Sevitvam Artirjana Samsiddhi Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. See here, last line. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam Etad Jnanam Iti Proktam Ajnanam Yad Atonatha. That means there is no other Jnanam beyond this. Everything other things are only Ajnanam. To understand Atma Tattva Paratattva, that is the most important knowledge. And Krishna says, beyond these things, any other things, I only consider that as ignorance. So Srila Prabhupada has practically covered everything in this. What is the meaning of tapasya? What is the meaning of jnanam? Then why all these Vedic rituals are there? Everything has been covered in the purport. Maybe you can read the purport twice, thrice, and any Any line you're not understanding, you can ask. But read the purport again and again. Next. Sa evedam sasarjagre Bhagavan Atmamaya Sadasadrupaya chaso Gunamayo aguno vibhu. Sa evedam sasarjagre Bhagavan Atmamaya Sadasatrupaya chaso Gunamayo aguno vibhu. Okay, Manjari, you chant, then I'll chant after you.
सये वेदं ससर्जाग्रे
स एवेदं ससर्जाग्रे
भगवानात्ममायया
भगवानात्ममायया
सदसद्रूपया चासौ
सदसद्रूपया चासौ
गुणमया गुणो विभु
गुणमया गुणो विभुः. Veena. What is Veena Dube's? Vimalang. Vimalang.
Mataji, sorry, my name.
Vimalang. Yes, you chant. Then I'll chant. Chant.
Okay. स एवेदं ससर्जाग्रे
स एवेदं ससर्जाग्रे
भगवान् आत्मा मायया
भगवान् आत्मा मायया आत्मा
ओके सद असद रूपया चासौ
सदसद्रूपया चासौ
गुणमया गुणो विभु
गुणमया chant गुणमया अगुणो विभुः.
गुणो विभुः.
Actually, gunamaya, when you say, there is two things. One is gunamaya, then aguno. Both have combined to gunamaya guno vibhu. Gunamaya guno vibhu, you can say. Or gunamaya aguno vibhu. That a has become a. Gunamaya aguno vibhu or gunamaya guno vibhu. It is aguno. Okay. Who else will chant? Mirin Prabhu.
स एवदं ससर्जाग्रे
स एवेदं ससर्जाग्रे
सदसद्रूपया चासौ सदसद्रूपया चासौ
सदसद्रूपया चासौ
गुणमया गुणो विभुः
गुणमयो अगुणमया गुणो विभुः. Yes. Okay. Sa evedam sasarjagre. Yes, that is certain. What is certain? Sasarjagre. Sasarja agrehe. Agrehe. That in the beginning, this whole thing is created. Who has created? Bhagavan. Bhagavan Atma Maya. How he created? By his personal potency, Atma Maya. Atma Maya has come in Bhagavad Gita somewhere. Anybody can say Atma Maya. How Krishna appears?
10th chapter.
10th chapter. Krishna, how he appears?
Savame Atma Maya.
4.6.
Chant the verse.
I don't know the verse, but I know that verse depicts the internal potency, and Srimati Radharani has referred it only in that verse. And then
Okay, open 4.6 open. Our Sachadev Prabhu has given. Ajopin Bhutana
Vishwarupisan Prakritim
Swamadhisthaya
Sambhavami Atmamayaya.
संभवामि आत्ममाया. Yes, I appear.
माताजी 10.15 भी आ सकता है ना माताजी?
बोलिए बोलिए.
स्वयमेव आत्मन आत्मानं वेत्थत्वं पुरुषोत्तमं भूतभावन भूतेश देवदेव जगत्पते.
वापस बोलिए.
स्वयमेव आत्मन आत्मानं वेत्थत्वं पुरुषोत्तमं.
आत्ममाया. आत्ममाया शब्द है क्या ऐसा? एकदम एग्जैक्ट आत्ममाया है क्या?
स्वयमेव आत्मानं. अच्छा वो नहीं है माता जी।
आप बोल रहे हो सही है, लेकिन आत्म माया that is there here. Ajopi san abhyatma bhutanam ishwaropi san praktim savadhishtaya sambhavam atma maya. I appear by my own will, by my own internal potency. In the same way, Krishna says, I have also created. Who is creating? My own internal energy is creating. So Krishna takes help of whom? He's taking whose help for all this creation? Whose help? Who is responsible for creation? Who can answer? Who is responsible for creation?
Krishna himself.
He has no other work or what? Actually, he doesn't do any work. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. He does not do any work. Who is responsible for creation? Yes?
His internal potency.
His internal potency.
Who? Which internal potency? The three internal potencies. Radharani has no other
The
work.
last one.
She has to cook for Krishna.
Chit Shakti. Chit Shakti.
Nandini.
Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti.
Samvit Shakti, Sandhini Shakti, and Aladini Shakti.
Okay, three Shaktis are there. Who is responsible for creation? Who is responsible for creation?
Purushavasaras. Purushavasaras.
Who is responsible for creation?
Parashakti.
Balaram.
Yes, Balaram. Simple answer, Balaram. Balaram is also internal energy only, na? Sambit, Sandhini, Hiladini. So sometimes Balaram comes in Sandhini. Sometimes he is counted in also Sambit. Sambit is knowledge potency. Sandhini is Sat potency. And Hiladini Shakti is Srimati Radharani. So internal potency, Balaram is also internal potency. The same Balaram now expands into Chaturvyuha. And the same Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva Pradyumna, Sankarshan goes on expanding till Sankarshan comes to Mahasankarshan. Mahasankarshan appears as two. That is Sadashiv and Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu glances at the Mahat Tattva, impregnates the Mahat Tattva with Kala Shakti and Jiva Shakti. And there Sadashiv appears as Shambhu. Now Shambhu impregnates the already impregnated. Now Shambhu is touching the Prakriti. That is how the same Shambhu appears as Lord Shiva. And the whole creation happens because of Karanadakshay Vishnu, that is Mahavishnu, glancing over Mahatattva. Then so many Brahmandas appear. In every Brahmanda, Krishna enters as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Then the whole creation again happens because of Brahma, the second creator. Then Krishna appears as Shridakshay Vishnu, that is Paramatma. So in all these creations, you say the spiritual world, the material world, everything, who is responsible? It's internal energy of Krishna, that is Balaram. Now Balaram is not creating the spiritual world. Something is created, then it should be destroyed also. Already existing, it just manifests. It's a manifestation of the spiritual world. Because when you say creation, creation involves time. Creation involves time. And wherever there is an influence of time, then it is matter. Matter is created, matter is destroyed. Spiritual world manifests, spiritual world unmanifests. So there is no destruction. There is a lot of difference between manifesting and unmanifesting. Like sun appears every day, disappears. But sun is not destroyed. Sun is there. In the same way, the spiritual world always exists. Okay. So here we have done this. Okay. Purport. Sanjay Prabhu, please read the purport.
The position of the Lord is always transcendental because the causal and effectual energies required for the creation of the material world were also created by him. He is unaffected, therefore, by the qualities of the material modes. His existence, form, activities, and paraphernalia all existed before the material creation. He is all spiritual and has nothing to do with the qualities of the material world, which are qualitatively distinct from the spiritual qualities of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Now, Krishna expands himself and enters in everything. That is how the how Krishna enters into every material substance has been spoken. Taya vilasitesh. This is the last verse for today. Taya vilasiteshveshu guneshu gunavaniva antah pravishta bhati vijnanena vijrumbitah. Taya vilasiteshveshu guneshu gunavaniva antah pravishta bhati vijnanena vijrumbitah. Okay, Vrindavan Leela Mataji, you chant, then I'll chant, then Ramakrishna Prabhu, be prepared. Vrindavan Leela Mataji. Okay, till Vrindavan Leela Mataji comes. Ramakrishna Prabhu, you start.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Taya vilasiteshveshu.
Taya vilasiteshveshu. Chant after me. Taya vilasiteshveshu.
Taya vilasiteshveshu.
Guneshu gunavaniva.
Guneshu gunavaniva.
Antah pravrishta bhati.
Antah pravishta bhati.
Vijnanena vijrumbitah.
Vijnanena vijrumbitah.
Hemangi Mataji, chant after me, keep your video on. Taya vilasiteshveshu.
Taya vilasiteshveshu.
Video on. Guneshu gunavaniva.
Guneshu gunavaniva.
Antah pravishta bhati.
Anta pravishta abhati.
Vijnanena vijrumbitah.
Vijnanena vijrumbitah.
So after creating, Taya vilasiteshveshu. So whole this function is going on. The creation is doing all this creation. So now Lord, after creating, what he does, he's expanding himself and he is entering. So now he's entering the material world. This material world is affected by the modes of goodness, modes of material nature, but Lord is not affected. Though he is there in this material modes of nature, and he appears also to be like one of the living or one of the created beings. Vijnanena vijrumbitah. He is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. That means vijrumbitah. He is not affected by the material modes of nature. Taya vilasiteshu. 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 Eshu. Teshva eshu. Actually, it is teshu eshu. Both things are there. So what is he doing? Though he is creating everything, he is also entering in this material world. He is unaffected. Pravishta, antaha pravishta. He has entered. Abhati. It appears. What it appears? As if he has taken a human body. But Vijnanena. How is his consciousness is completely transcendental. Vijnanena. Vijnanena vijrumbitah. Vijrumbitah refers to he is fully enlightened. He is not at all in the mode of, he is not at all in ignorance. He is completely enlightened. That has been given. So Lord has entered. The Lord has entered into every body also. The Lord is residing in my body, your body, in everyone's body. So Lord has entered, but the jivas are covered by gunas. The body is covered by the gunas. So Lord has entered in our body also. And but he is not Though he comes in contact with the gunas, he is not affected by the gunas. But how is his strength? His strength is because of his spiritual potency. He has multifarious energies. He is completely spiritual. His energies are also spiritual. Okay. So that is what is created. What has been told is Lord is the inner soul of whatever he has created. That means he is Paramatma of all the Paramatmas. You can say. He is a Paramatma for all the Paramatmas here referred to. There is Atma in everybody. He is Paramatma for everyone. He is the soul of everyone. At the same time, when you say he is the soul of this body, he is the soul of this material world also. I may know about my body, but Krishna knows about everyone's body. That is why he is the soul of all the souls that has been given. And then Krishna makes the world to manifest. It is Krishna's will. That is why Vilashiteshu has been told. How? By the help of Maya. Krishna has two energies, Maya Shakti, Chit Shakti. Maya Shakti, because of its Maya Shakti, the whole material world manifests. What is Chit Shakti? Krishna appearing in different avatars. That is Chit Shakti. By his own knowledge potency, Krishna appears. Maya Shakti, because of his illusory energy, Krishna makes the whole material world to manifest. It seems that Krishna is associating with gunas. Taya vilasiteshu guneshu gunamaniva. Guneshu gunaman. Vilasiteshu guneshu gunamaniva. It appears as if he is associating with the gunas. It is not so. Because Krishna's Vijnanena Vijrumbitaha, Vijnanena, his Chit Shakti, it excels in power. Krishna excels in power by his Chit Shakti. So by his Maya Shakti, Krishna creates everything. By his Chit Shakti, Krishna is never under the control of Maya. So two Shaktis have been spoken here. Chit Shakti and Maya Shakti. Chit Shakti can be understood by Vijnanena. Maya Shakti, Guneshu Gunavaniva. Krishna enters this material world which is made up of Maya, Gunas. Okay. Okay. Bhaktani Prabhu, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The living entities are separated parts and parcel of the Lord, and the conditioned living beings who are unfit for the spiritual kingdom are striven within the material world to enjoy matter to the fullest extent. As Paramatma and eternal friend of the living entities, the Lord, by one of his plenary portions, accompanies the living entities to guide them in their material enjoyment and to become witness to all activities. While the living entities enjoy the material conditions, the Lord maintains his transcendental position without being affected by the material atmosphere. In the Vedic literatures, Shruti, it is said that there are two birds in one tree. One of them is eating the fruit of the tree, while the other is witnessing the actions. The witness is the Lord, and the fruit eater is the living entity. The fruit eater living entity has forgotten his real identity and is overwhelmed in the fruitive activities of the material conditions. But the Lord Paramatma is always full in transcendental knowledge. That is the difference between the super soul and the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul, the living entity, is controlled by the laws of the nature, while the Paramatma or super soul is the controller of the material energy. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, we'll stop here. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, before question and answer session, can we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for you once? Today is Narayani Mataji's wedding anniversary, and Bindu Mataji, all the way she has come from Borivali to wish Mataji. That is why Mataji was delayed in starting the class. So
Very
can
good.
we all chant, unmute and chant once? Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Certainly.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Ram,
Ram,
Ram.
Hare Hare.
Hare
Already
Krishna.
late
Pranam
for
Mataji.
since
We
I
need
made
your
the class
blessing.
to school. Hare Krishna. I made the class only because she has to go. She lives in Borivali. She has come all the way. Okay. Any questions? Bimbalangi Mataji had question.
Mataji, missing Yogeshwar temple.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, is it okay if I ask the question or should I ask tomorrow then? Or next
You
time?
can ask.
Because
You can
the
ask. You
wedding
can
and
ask. Now what? Night I have to sleep now.
I wanted to understand what is the meaning of manifest and unmanifest. Like you said that the spiritual kingdom, God can manifest and unmanifest. That means, is it unmanifest from us? This is awareness covered by the Creator. So is it a cloud? Is our knowledge covered by the Maya? Is it a meaning or is it what?
See, Maya Shakti is for creating this material world. Chit Shakti, when you say completely the spiritual world. Chit Shakti, Maya Shakti, two energies. I don't know what you're saying because the question was not, so much of disturbance was coming.
My question was, Mataji, you had said there was a statement that the God can manifest and unmanifest the spiritual kingdom, spiritual world. So, what does the unmanifest meaning here? Like
It is
the spiritual
always there.
world
Manifest, unmanifest here refers to, it is up to Lord whether to show it or not. He is always present. In the same way, his abode is always present, he is always there. But when you say manifest, unmanifest, it is up to him whether to reveal it or not. In the same way. So it is always there. Spiritual kingdom always exists. When you say unmanifest, unmanifest, it is up to Lord to reveal it or not. You can see.
Okay. Mataji, I have another question. Can I ask it?
Yeah.
Mataji, there's in 28-29 verse, it was mentioned that the impersonalists, they get this freedom from this material bondage after many difficulties. But normally the impersonalists, they go up to the level of Brahman, right? So, so in that case, Mataji, they are free from the material bondage. That is the reason they go up to that level. Or I could not understand this. Like when it is mentioned.
Impersonalists, when they are giving up the matter, they think that now let me get liberated from the matter. But for them, the liberation is merging in Brahman. They no doubt have got liberated from matter, but they are merging in Brahman. From there also, they are not able to really relish the Anand aspect. That is why they have to again come back.
Okay.
Because that Ananda aspect can be understood only when there is a personal understanding of the Lord. When you have personal understanding, then only you can understand personal relationship also. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipa. Personal relationship. I and you exist.
So that is not a complete freedom from the material bondage. Then it's incomplete.
Freedom from material world can. What is the meaning of freedom from material world? What is the meaning of freedom from material world?
It's a liberation, no? That is
why I said liberation is differently understood by different type of people. For an impersonalist, the liberation is merging in Brahman. For a personalist, the liberation is is in having the personal relationship or personal service to Krishna.
Okay.
So liberation, mukti panyatha rupam sarupena vivastitihi jiver sarupohi Krishna nityadas. It is only at the level of liberation, there is a difference in the opinion. Till that time, control of senses, everything is wonderful. But when it comes to the point of liberation, everybody has understood in a different ways. For a bhakta, liberation is getting service of Krishna. For an impersonalist, liberation is merging in Brahman. For a Buddhist, the impression, or you can say Shunyavadis, the liberation is everything is null and void.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji.
Sachdev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, the purport at 30, the position of the Lord is always transcendental. Why? Because the causal and effectual energies required for the creation. Can you just throw some torchlight on this causal and effectual energies? Because this thing comes again and again and again and again. I know it relates to
30th one.
Causes.
Yeah.
Yeah, purport
In
of first line.
the purport, the absolute Lord in the beginning of the material creation, that absolute Lord in his transcendental position created the energies of cause and effect by itself. Cause and effect. Everything has a cause, that is why there is an effect. Whatever has an effect, there is a cause. So who has given that? That is also energy only. Cause, effect. Okay. So let us have. What is the cause of a wonderful fruit? You can say seed, isn't it? The seed is the cause of the fruit. The effect was because of the seed you had a big tree, and because of that seed you got that effect was there's a nice tree, and then you got a nice fruit. So there is an effect also, there is a cause. There is a cause, that is why there is an effect. But who has created that energy? That is Krishna. Energy for cause also, energy for effect also. Everything is dependent on Krishna, cause, effect. You can tell like this, you see many effects are there. Whatever is effect, there is a cause behind that effect. And everything is run by the potency of Krishna only, by energy of Krishna.
And what is the cause for the... Yeah, it's very complicated. Very complicated. What is the cause for the cause?
What is the cause for the cause? There is a cause for the cause. And who is that cause? Krishna is the cause for the cause. Now, this seed became the cause for this tree. This tree is an effect of this cause. What is this cause for this cause? There is another seed. That seed became the cause for this cause. Okay, who is the original cause? That is Krishna. But who is the cause for Krishna?
Causeless.
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 Ishvara, Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadi Radhir Govinda, Sarva Karana, Karanam. He is the cause. Karanam. He is the cause. But there is no cause for him. That's why Krishna says, Aham Bijam. Aham Bija Pradapitaha. I am that Bijam. I am that seed giving father. So, cause for all the causes is Krishna. But if you say what is cause for the cause, the effect is a cause for the cause. And what is the cause for the defect? Again, the cause becomes the effect. Effect becomes a cause. It is like a circle.
So it is like a never-ending loop.
Never ending. At the same time, there is an end, because anyhow it is a matter. Matter has to end. There is a time period.
Yeah, but the matter is never destroyed. Matter is never destroyed.
Matter is not destroyed. Matter manifests, unmanifests again. Matter is created. Matter is again like inhale. What you call? Everything has again. Krishna has to take it. Again, Krishna will pour it out. Again, he takes it back. It's up to Krishna.
Okay, Mataji, thank you. And Mataji, just a few lines on the concept of internal potency. I could not clarify the whole thing. Like we started with Atma Maya and we then ended up with this internal potency. So what are the different divisions of internal potency? We learned about these three potencies.
Sandhini, Samvit, and Hladini. Sandhini for the whole creation, like Sandhini, he is responsible for all the existence, especially spiritual existence. That is Sandhini Shakti. Same Sandhini Shakti is responsible for also material creation. Samvit is a knowledge potency. Sometimes in knowledge potency, Krishna is also added in knowledge potency. He only understands his own powers, everything, qualities. Now, okay. The same Sandini, Samved and Ladini, they appear as the same Sat Chit Ananda, they appear as Rajas, Tamas and Sato.
What, Mataji? Again?
Hmm.
There's something new line you said today. ये तो किधर पढ़ा भी नहीं है.
Samved, Sandini and Hiladini. Samved, Sandini, Hiladini. Or you can say like this, Sandini, Samved, Hiladini. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Okay? Sat, Chit, Ananda. That is, Sandini is Sat, Samved is Chit, Ananda is Hiladini. Now the same thing when it is perverted in this material world, it appears as, let us take from behind.
Lust.
Let us take from behind. We have three things, huh? Rajas, Tamas, and Sato. Sato, Rajas, Tamas. Now, what is the opposite of knowledge? Chit. What is the opposite of knowledge? Ignorance. So this Chit appears as Tamas. Chit appears as Tamas. What is the opposite of Ananda? Rajas. Even the Rajas person thinks that he wants happiness. He's behind material happiness. That is why it appears as Rajas. He is searching after happiness, but the real happiness is in bliss. And then Sandini appears as Sato Guna. Okay? Sat Tama Rajas. Sat Tama Rajas. Okay.
लिखा है माताजी इन सब कौन से बुक में लिखा है ये सब? Or is it that you are speaking from some book from another kalpa or something like that?
I'm not speaking from anything. I'm not speaking from anything. I'm just speaking from whatever I have heard.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
This is actually there in the beginning of the, when you speak about the three qualities, that time we speak about the eternal three internal potencies. The same internal potencies manifest as three gunas in the
perverted. Hare Krishna. Thank you for this. Thank you.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu daivacha